Every year, player ratings are one of the most highly anticipated news stories for the Madden NFL series. Gamers want to know who's the fastest, strongest, quickest, and which rookie rates at the top of their class. Let's take a quick look back at Madden 07, which was a groundbreaking year for ratings as live roster updates were first introduced. Finally, gamers would not be stuck with incorrect rosters for their entire season or forced to update manually using memory cards. With live roster updates, players were signed, released, traded, injured, would be updated each week, and ratings were updated based upon the player's current performance. Not only did this give consumers the best experience possible, but it kept Madden fresh and relevant because any ratings that turned out to be inaccurate were fixed and forgotten as the season progressed. Fast forward to Madden NFL 19, a record 7 players made the 99 overall club. Now will all 7 finish the year at 99? Only time will tell. I sat down with Dustin Smith, aka the equipment guru and current Madden ratings assistant producer at EA Sports, who was passed down the torch from former ratings czar Donnie Moore, to discuss how ratings and roster updates are currently determined in Madden NFL and if any bias exists in the current ratings process. This feature presentation of EA Gamechangers allowed me to bring this exclusive content to you. Enjoy. Can you tell me a little bit about your process, how you come up with the ratings in the game?
Sure. So, like for rookies, for example, we take about 4 or 5 different scouting reports, compare them all, see what's the same across the board in each scouting report. Then you compare that within the position, across the league, through all of that. Then you watch all of the highlight films, tape breakdowns, anything like that. Always try and focus on the strengths and the weaknesses so that they're not just generally the same across the board. If they're good everywhere, because that's not the case. You want to really emphasize where they're strong and where they're weak. Then now that we've got Swami in this year, going back and forth and being able to bounce stuff off him bounce stuff off me is super nice. So you've got a nice process there where you can evaluate over and over and over, check on this, check on that. It's a very, very long process to try and keep up with all of it. It is not simple by any means, and nobody's ever happy. Some people are happy, still aren't happy enough. You know, it's a hard thing to make everybody completely pleased in almost an opinion-based realm, right? It's pretty difficult. So we do our best to try and put everything where you can, but we still give the freedom to the user to edit everything as well if you think we completely blew it. You know, it is what it is. Everything's out there. We always give you all of the abilities to do whatever you want with this. Nobody's perfect. I mean, we've made typos and errors here. We always fix them. That's what roster updates are for. You can fix anything you want at any time. Just wait a week. If something was a mistake, we can always come out and take care of things. I've never been completely married to a lot of ratings. I'm always willing to look at it and expand and change, unless it's something that I so firmly believe that I know for certain that this guy is this. So then you take that and then you put it out, you put all the ratings you want on it, and then you run the overall formula. If it ends up a little too high, a little too low, you make small tweaks from here and there, but then you should be pretty generally happy with where he is at that point. So you take that, you run with it, and then you see where they land within the whole league. So everybody gets compared not only within their position, within their rookie class, for example, but then they get compared with where they're going to fall within the league. So it's nice and an easy way to kind of take a look at how they fall, because then you can also then, after all that, we sort them within the new archetypes this year. So like, where do they fall within receiving back? Where do they fall within power back? Those kind of things like that, so you can kind of get a good look and lay of the land on what you're getting out of the player.
So there has been some backlash this year as well as last year about some people saying that you've been biased to the Cowboys. Can you kind of respond or answer to that? I'm assuming you don't believe that's true.
Not totally a subscriber to that. For example, like the Eagles have one of the best rosters this year, so I mean that is what it is. As far as how they play out on overall, they have the strongest team as far as players go on the whole. So I think, you know, you can also always point out the Cowboys is one of those teams whether you're a fan or not. They always get a bunch of talent, but they can't put it together. Doesn't mean that the team's bad, but there's a bunch of other reasons why they can't succeed. I think fandom plays into a lot of things here, right? Like John White's a Falcons fan. I'm a Cowboys fan. Swami's a Patriots fan. Everybody has their favorite team. Farrell's is a Giants fan. Everybody has their favorite team, and you always have to do your best to still try and look at it on the highest level where you're not influenced by what your favorite thing is. My job in particular, you have to do your best here. Like, I always put my ratings out in front of other people so that they can still give me my feedback. Hey, this so-and-so, I don't know about that one. That one seems too much. So you always take a look at everything like that to prevent anything like that. So, I mean, when you get things like that, you have to either take it on the chin or accept that some people just aren't happy with the way their team's rated versus the Cowboys, for example. So you just take it as a grain of salt. You work on it. You can always raise anybody you want as the season goes on. Again, that's what roster updates are for. Players move all the time, sometimes in high rates if we miss. So or we just intentionally put them low just because you don't want them to be. What if they bust out, right? You start them low for an exact reason, right? You don't want to be the guy that says, "Wow, I had him in an 88 and he's clearly like a 75. How did I do that?" Right? It's always easier to start low. So that's just my thoughts on that.
Yeah, but it's also, I mean, even the scouts miss on players sometimes. Too high happens every year. One player in particular, for me personally, I feel that the final ratings that we're going to start with have come out, and so we've kind of seen those now that they came out yesterday. And I felt like Lamar Jackson, and I feel that even though he did not run the 40 at the combine, the things that I've seen on the field, but also his on the field time that I've seen people do and break that down, he really, even though he has 91 speed, I believe he's at now, I think that's kind of low. What are some of your thoughts? I feel that Lamar Jackson should be much faster than he is in the game.
I mean, we had a lot of talk about this one in-house. It's something that I think he's incredibly fast. He's still easily the fastest quarterback in our game. Proving anything in our game is not a problem for us to react and change it.
All right, last question is about ratings. I know you have your determination that you kind of come up with the ratings, but is there any time where you actually have to change ratings due to different things within gameplay that you have to go back and adjust your ratings for gameplay reasons?
We usually get something from gameplay, parameters to stay in so that we're not actively breaking the game or doing anything like that. But we're always conscious of trying to stay within an area where we can make the game playable and not unbalanced in any way, shape, or form, whether it be linebackers, quarterbacks, any of that stuff.
Well, that is it for this series. If there are any questions or comments you have about the ratings of Madden NFL, please leave them in the comments below. What do you think about the current ratings process at EA? What things would you change with them? Do you prefer ratings in the past or how they're currently done? Stay tuned for more Madden 19 gameplay, tips, and content just like this coming to the channel. We're really going to do our best to get you guys ready to hit the ground running this season with the best tips and tactics out there. I really hope you've enjoyed the content so far, but if there's anything you haven't seen already that you would like, let me know. I'm always looking to do as much as I can for the community. As I do it for the culture, I do it for the people. Don't forget to join us on Patreon as an SGO Insider for exclusive news, tips, and access to additional content. Big shout out to all the insiders who have joined so far. I appreciate your continued support in making SGO a success. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like, and if you love our content here at SGO, subscribe and turn those notifications on for more exclusives just like this. This is the Natural Sports Gamers Online.com. I'm out.